Good afternoon, all. I'd like you to take a look at this box. What you see here is basically a background with what looks like a ball hovering in midair. Here's the weird bit. I take a coin and I drop it into the box and it disappears. Has it gone invisible? Not quite so much. See, when I pull the lid back, not only does the coin come back out, come on, out you come, but you can actually see inside here that there is a panel on the diagonal in the screw. If you actually take a close look at the front of the box, it's actually a mirror reflecting the bottom of the box, and the ball is screwed into the mirror, giving the illusion that it is hovering in midair. This is an old classic magic trick known as the mystery box. Why am I starting this video off with a magic trick and debunking a commonly known one? Because of the fact that there is a issue that I thought should be dealt with, especially given the nature of the March on Science last week. There has been a large debate over the years as to whether or not science and religion or faith and reason can agree. And one of the concepts that was come up with several years ago was the concept of non-overlapping magisteria, hence the name for this channel, which is that faith covers one area, reason covers another, and the others don't have much to say about each other. Well, I personally think that there is a relation between faith and reason, and to be more specific, it's actually through Clarke's third law: any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic. Or as Robert Heinlein quoted in the book Time Enough for Love, one man's science is another man's magic, supernatural is a null word. And the reason I mention this is because of the fact that there may actually be an opportunity, hell, even a chance, that some of the classic ideas about God and religion may actually be brought into the realm of testability. Namely, the concept of, is there a God, at least of some description, i.e. deism, could potentially be brought into the realm of scientific testability from a couple of different models that I thought would be worth looking at. The first one is the idea of a mathematical source code being part of this universe, or part of the multiverse in general. I actually gave a presentation on this at the Canadian Undergraduate Mathematical Conference last year entitled, Does Mathematics Exist? There's a link for it in the description below. But other relations to this include such things as physicists to test to see if the universe is a computer simulation. They actually had some ideas on how to do this, involving things like quantum chromodynamics experiments, basically looking at whether or not cosmic rays were going to do weird things. Let me actually see if the how they propose to do it here. Not just a theory. Matrix is less than fiction. Where is it here? The actual test itself, I'll click to the link, says, observable consequences of the hypothesis that the observed universe is a numerical simulation performed on, but basically among the observables are that mu on G2 and the current differences between alpha. Basically, this is what they'd be doing is looking for odd behavior in cosmic rays. I'll link to this. Well, I linked to this via the Huffington Post so people can see this paper, courtesy of its link in the description below. But there is also another possibility about how to test that our universe may be an artificial simulation. This experiment that was done in 2013 actually managed to generate what look like bubbles that are roughly the shape of our universe and are consistent with inflation theory inside a ferrofluid, a metamaterial. Now, the thing is that this implies that we did actually create something akin to an artificial universe inside a laboratory. So my thinking with this is that if we could replicate this experiment and see the nature of how these space-times formed, perhaps there's a hallmark of this, perhaps there's a sort of fingerprint of this artificial process that we can start looking for in our own cosmological data and get an indication as to whether or not our universe was artificially generated by a similar process. Now, this isn't conclusive proof one way or the other if God exists, but it does allow us to test whether or not the universe was artificially generated, either as a physical phenomenon or as a computer simulation. And if it turns out positively from one of these tests that the universe was artificially generated, then that would imply an artificial generator of some description. That artificial generator is probably so advanced to beyond us in technology that we could consider them, for now, to be a god. By Arthur C. Clarke's third law, any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic. That doesn't necessarily mean that such a being is a god, however. It would only be that they would be a god compared to us and give us a goal of something to learn towards. Now, whether or not that means that one religion is right over another, that would require trying to figure out what such an artificial being was, trying to communicate with it, and then getting a response back that was unambiguous, and being able to determine which, if any, of the religions were accurate based on a communication with such an artificial creator. The key point behind all this is the fact that faith and reason need not necessarily be at odds with each other. More specifically, what I'm proposing is that we can actually start bringing faith into the realm of testability of science and put the view of science on it like we do with everything else. This need not be a case of religion trying to quash science. Rather, the other way around. We should put the whole question of religion on hold until such time as we can start this kind of testing. That means that creationism, which has been debunked more ways, 6 ways from Sunday, climate denial, which again has been debunked 6 ways from Sunday, and various other religiously motivated ideas. Yes, climate change denial to a certain extent is religiously motivated. There was a attempted merger by the Heartland Institute and the Discovery Institute a few years ago. Link will be in the description below, which basically suggests that there was a certain amount of fundamentalist Christianity motivating some of the climate denial in the United States for at least a little while. But the key point behind all this is the fact that, not to mention all of the issues with regards to religious dictates of morality being outdated and all this kind of thing, I think it appropriate to put the whole question of religion on hold and dictate our morality from empirically derivable methods, as suggested by my paper on science as morality from the journal Autism Zone, which I've linked to in previous videos. And from that, be able to try to test whether or not a God exists using a scientific method, and all of us be agnostic on this issue until such time as we have an answer one way or the other empirically. At least that's my thinking for now. But anyway, that's just my thoughts on it. Feel free to leave your comments in the below the video. And I would appreciate knowing what you guys think. What is your opinions on religion in general? Do you think that science has proved or disproved God already? If so, why? What sort of things can we expect to look for based on this kind of based on where we are right now? And as usual, I'll catch you on the flip side. Peace out.